Picture this. You're at a dinner party. There are maybe 10, 12 people around the table. The conversation is bouncing, fast, loud, overlapping. Someone tells a joke, and the whole table erupts. Someone else jumps in with another story before the laughter even settles. Topics shift every 45 seconds. There's crosstalk. There's performance. There's energy, a lot of energy. And you're sitting there, smiling, nodding, participating just enough. But inside, something feels off. It's not that you dislike these people. It's not that you're angry or jealous or antisocial. It's something quieter than that. It's this low, steady hum of exhaustion that nobody else at the table seems to feel. Like you're watching a movie in a language you mostly understand, but not your native one. And then later that night, you're driving home and your phone buzzes. It's a text from one friend, just one, who says, "Hey, want to grab coffee tomorrow? Just us." And something in your chest loosens. That's your language. If you know exactly what I'm describing, this one is for you. And I want you to stay, because what I'm about to tell you might change the way you see yourself. So let's talk about why this happens. Why some of us feel most alive, most ourselves, not in the buzzing center of a group, but in the quiet, focused space between two people. And I want to start by saying something important. This is not a disorder. This is not a dysfunction. This is your nervous system telling you something true about how you're wired. Let's begin with what psychologists call arousal regulation. And no, not that kind of arousal. We're talking about your brain's baseline level of stimulation. This idea goes back to the work of Hans Eysenck, one of the pioneers of personality psychology. Eysenck proposed that introverts, and many people who prefer one-on-one connection, have a naturally higher baseline of cortical arousal. Their brains are already doing a lot internally, processing, analyzing, feeling. So when you walk into a room full of overlapping conversations, competing voices, and fragmented attention, your brain doesn't experience that as fun. It experiences it as noise. Not because you're weak, because you're already full. A group conversation, neurologically speaking, demands something called rapid attentional switching. Your brain has to track multiple speakers, monitor social cues from several people simultaneously, manage turn-taking in a chaotic system, and regulate your emotional response to all of it in real time. For some brains, that's energizing. For yours, it's like running 6 apps at once on a phone with an already active processor. The battery drains fast. But here's where it gets beautiful. In a one-on-one conversation, something fundamentally different happens in your brain. Research in social neuroscience shows that dyadic interactions, conversations between just two people, activate deeper regions of emotional processing. The prefrontal cortex engages more fully. Mirror neurons fire with greater consistency. You're not just hearing the other person, you're tracking them. Their micro-expressions, the slight shift in their tone, the pause before they say the thing they're actually afraid to say. You're not doing less social processing in a one-on-one conversation. You're doing more. It's just that it's the kind of processing your brain was built for, depth over breadth. And there's another layer here, rooted in attachment theory. Many people who gravitate toward one-on-one connection have what psychologists describe as a heightened need for felt security in social interaction. This doesn't mean you're insecure. It means your system calibrates trust carefully. You need to feel that the space is safe before you open the deeper rooms of who you are. In a group setting, where attention is divided, where vulnerability is risky, where you can't control the emotional temperature, rarely feels safe enough. One person, though, one person who's present, that's where the walls come down. Now here's where I need you to really listen. Because if you've spent any part of your life being told, by the culture, by social media, by well-meaning friends, that you need to be more outgoing, more comfortable in groups, more social in the way society defines social, I want to offer you a different frame. You are not socially limited. You are socially selective. And that selectiveness, it's not a flaw. It's a gift, one that the world desperately needs but rarely celebrates. Think about what you bring to a conversation when it's just you and one other person. You bring full attention, which, in an age of constant distraction, is one of the rarest things a human being can offer another human being. You bring depth, the willingness to move past small talk and into the questions that actually matter. How are you really doing? What are you afraid of? What do you want your life to look like? You bring safety, because people can feel it when someone is truly listening. Not waiting to speak, not scanning the room, listening. The psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron, known for her research on highly sensitive people, has shown that individuals who prefer deep, one-on-one interaction often score higher in empathy, emotional intelligence, and what she calls depth of processing. You don't just receive information, you metabolize it. You feel the weight of what people say. You notice what they don't say. And here's the truth the world won't tell you. The people who change our lives are rarely the ones who entertained us at a party. They're the ones who sat with us, really sat with us, in a quiet room, or on a long walk, or on the other end of a phone call at midnight, and made us feel like we were the only person in the world. That is your superpower, and I will not let you call it a weakness. Now, I also want to be honest with you, because having this wiring in a world designed for group socializing can feel isolating sometimes. So let me offer you a few gentle strategies, not to change who you are, never that, but to help you protect your energy and honor your needs without guilt. The first, give yourself permission to design your social life around depth, not frequency. You do not owe anyone a group hangout. If your social cup is filled by 5 or 6 deep, meaningful connections, that is not enough. That is exactly enough. Research consistently shows that the quality of our relationships matters far more than the quantity. A landmark Harvard study that followed people for over 80 years found that the single greatest predictor of health and happiness wasn't wealth, career success, or social popularity. It was the depth of close relationships. You've been investing in the right thing all along. The second, create what I call an exit with grace. Plan for group situations you can't avoid. There will be parties. There will be work events. There will be family gatherings. And you don't have to dread them. You don't have to be on for the whole room. Walk in with one intention. Find one person to have one real conversation with. That's it. And when your energy runs low, and it will, leave. Without guilt. Without over-explaining. A simple, warm, "This was really lovely, and I'm going to head out," is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone your depletion. The third, and this one is important, stop measuring your social worth by extroverted standards. We live in a culture that equates being social with being loud, visible, and surrounded. But connection isn't a performance. It's a resonance. And some of the most profoundly connected people I've ever known are the ones who would never describe themselves as the life of the party. So if you're someone who has ever felt like you're too much for wanting depth or not enough for struggling in groups, I want to leave you with this. The world is full of noise, full of surface-level interactions and crowded rooms and conversations that evaporate the moment they end. And in the middle of all that noise, you are someone who craves signal. Someone who wants to know people, not just know of them. Someone who would rather have 1 hour of real than 10 hours of pretend. That is not something wrong with you. That is something rare in you. And the people who've been lucky enough to sit across from you, in that quiet coffee shop, on that late-night phone call, those people know. They know what it feels like to be truly, fully, completely heard. You gave them that. Don't you dare apologize for it.